What up guys, Rambo checking in, vlog number 3. Basically today's topic we're going to be talking about cardio, when to do it, how much of it to do, when to introduce it throughout your cutting cycle, your bulking cycle, etc. First thing I'm going to say is that I'm a true believer in the fact that cardio needs to be done any stage of your training. Now, depending on where you're at and what your goals are, what your physique is looking like, that will dictate how much of cardio to actually do. But having said that, as a generic guide, I definitely believe that it should be done on a regular and consistent basis. Point number 1 that I want to get across: the better your off season, okay, the better your on season. So bulking isn't an excuse to go free for all. It's sticking to your macros, hitting your calorie intake every day, quality food choices as well, so that your on season is even better. Making gains is making muscle gains. It's not making gains on the scale. So just because your weight is going up doesn't mean you've put on quality mass. Typically the way that I would approach cardio is to do it 2 to 3 times a week. Remember that you are trying to build muscle predominantly, so more weight training, less cardio as a ratio. 2 to 3 times a week, I typically like to aim for a particular caloric value. I like to do things like the bike, the elliptical, and the treadmill. And I'll generally aim for about 300 calories at a time, which takes me roughly about 20 minutes to do. Generally speaking, I'll also do that post-workout, so after my weight sessions. Not on a big day, obviously, not on a leg day, not on a big back day, but definitely on something, for instance, like a delts or an arms day where you're not in the gym pumping for too long. You can afford a little bit more energy expenditure, and that way your total calorie intake is still relative to your TDEE, so total daily energy expenditure again. Obviously, you burn more calories, for instance, training legs than you would training, shoulders or arms, like I said. That way, in terms of monitoring the amount of calories that you burn, you're monitoring the amount of cardio that you're actually doing, rather than just doing a free-for-all. And I think that's really important, so that when you hit a plateau or a stubborn point, you're actually able then to understand what to change, what to implement, and the more structure that you have, the more beneficial it is to you overall in the long term as well. So 2 to 3 sessions of cardio a week, that's on season and off season, that's a standard, that's a discipline thing. And as I said, even though I'm on quite high calories, I'm actually in a surplus. You can see that my conditioning isn't terrible. As opposed to a lot of off-season bodybuilders that you see, which just treat their bulk diets as a free-for-all and eat whatever the hell they want. So they're literally just getting fat and using that as an excuse for their training. The other thing I would say is that the most ideal situation to approach cardio, and I've heard a lot of high-profile people like, for instance, Alberto Nunez from 3DMJ, Dr. Lane Norton from BioLane. The most ideal way to be doing cardio is actually to dedicate a session to cardio on its own. So approaching your nutrition would still be exactly the same way as it would be for weights. So you would have a pre-workout meal. Ideally, you'd be sipping BCAAs intra-workout, and you would be having a post-workout shake in a combination of a fast-absorbing protein such as a WPI or hydrolyzed, and a fast-absorbing carbohydrate, so for instance something like a dextrose. And then that way you prevent catabolism, you prevent the release of cortisol, so you're actually spiking your insulin. So in an ideal situation, and I know that's not applicable for absolutely everybody out there, basically I would say that if you're able to, definitely approach your cardio in terms of having a dedicated session per week for it, and just go hard out for that 45 minutes and knock off your calories or your calorie expenditure from cardio for the week. mathematically speaking, if you were to do, 20 minutes 3 times a week, or you were to do 1 hour once a week, you can see that the total calories burnt throughout the week is relatively the same. I find that doing it for 20 minutes allows you to actually do it a lot more intensely as well. And on that subject as well, my cardio is generally speaking low intensity steady state, so LIST as it's commonly referred to. Not to say that I don't do HIIT cardio, high intensity interval training. I like to keep that card up my sleeve for when I do hit a plateau, because when you do initially introduce cardio, you will burn fat, you will drop those kilos, you will tighten up. Why use all of your resources at the one go? It's not going to get you shredded any faster. So I like to leave HIIT cardio up my sleeve, and I will basically approach that in a very similar fashion. So just doing different intensities, same amounts of time, same frequency as well, just changing it up, keeping it fresh, keeping it challenging, and basically going from there. But the point still stands: do your cardio, do it regularly, implement it into your program. The more discipline that you have in the off season, as I said, the more discipline that you'll have in the on season, and the more quality in terms of your gains. You'll look better, you'll look more conditioned, and there'll be less to do from transitioning to bulk to cut. Do subscribe to my Instagram as well. The link's in the comments section. Do subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. Definitely going to be uploading more vlogs. A lot of positive response. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I'll keep doing my thing. It's Rambo checking out. Peace.